Okay, so I was one of Shlomo's balagalas. I think that's how you say it. Someone who would drive Shlomo around. Balagala. I would pick him up in. I lived in Florida at the time, and I would pick him up in Atlanta, Georgia, which was a couple of 100 miles north of Florida, and then I would slowly bring him down to Florida. And he would stop in different places. It would take 3 or 4 days. So we're driving down, and all of a sudden, he says, Hannah, take a right, and take a left. And I go straight for a little while and take a right, and go for a little while, then turn around and go this way and that way. And we ended up at a train station. And he said, just wait. And so we're at the train station, and all of a sudden this old-time steam train comes in. You know, where the steam comes out of the chimney. And it stops at the train station. And he says, okay, get out of the car. So I love Shlomo very much, but I thought he was a little bit crazy. But then I knew that sometimes he did incredible things, so I get out of the car, and I'm standing there by the car. And the train stops. And this elderly man gets out of the train and comes towards me. And Shlomo encourages me to go be with him. So I go over to him, and he puts his hands above my head, and he blesses me. I'd been talking to Shlomo about the fact that I was single and had been told by many doctors that I wouldn't have any children. So I'm standing there with this man. He's very well dressed. He has on a vest and a coat and kippah, and he looks at me and he puts his hands over my head and he says, I bless you. I bless you that you have many children, and that you're happily married, and that Arach Yamim, and many long years and many long days. And he blesses me, and he gets back on the train, and the train goes away. So I go back to the car, and Shlomo, you know, had a very interesting way of being in a car. I'm sure that everyone who's driven with Shlomo knows that you think you're going to get Shlomo in the car, you're going to be able to ask him all the questions in the world, and you have him to yourself. But when you go in the car with Shlomo, he sits in the car and he's gone. He's dreaming. He's been on for hours and hours and hours, and he takes the opportunity to take a little shluff. So I get in the car and I turn on the engine, and Shlomo says, it was good, right? How was it? It was good?
Says what?
It was good. It was good. Good. Okay, come on. And we leave. And we travel down to Fort Lauderdale, and he's a concert, and then to Miami, and he does some concerts. And then he leaves. He has this amazing thing that he can come in on a Tuesday, be in one place on Wednesday, be another place on Thursday, take a flight somewhere else for Shabbos, and then on Sunday he's traveling again. He was like always traveling, always looking for the next soul, always looking for the next person he was supposed to be with. So a few weeks later, I decided to go back to that depot, to the place where that train was, just to satisfy my own curiosity that it really existed. So I go back to that town, and I look for the landmarks, and I drive to where I thought the depot was, and there was no train station, there were no tracks, and there was no train. But that was Shlomo. He made things happen. Okay. And then I met Nessun, and we have 4 gorgeous children, thank God.
You never know, you never know, you never know, you never know. Yes, are you going to say something?